Hey guys, it's Chris with Nichols Retirement Empire. Today I'm going to start a video series. It's going to take quite a few videos about how do I stay in education 30 years and make it to retirement. Because today the number of teachers that do quit is super high. I've done tons of videos about that and why they quit and all that. There's tons of reasons on why they quit. But what I want to talk about and what I want to start talking about are, what are some ways that you can up front when you enter the education field, what are some ways that I can help myself make it through a long career to get to the point where you can draw your pension and be retired and get the benefits, that are really the best. One of the best things about going into the field of education is the retirement age and the good benefits in the state. A lot of people will say, they don't get paid anything and all that kind of stuff. That's your opinion or whatever. Depending on what state you're in, you can make a good living and have a good retirement. The first video for this, I'm going to give you the main thing that can help you make it that nobody ever told me, and I figured out over the course of my career, and I wish I had known it at the beginning, but I can tell you. So the first thing is, the way I like to look at it is, it's kind of like a marriage. Marriage is tough. Half of marriages end in divorce, and a lot of teachers give up education. It's one of those things. Has a high casualty rate. Why is it so tough? Well, we've already talked about that. But just like in a marriage, when you go into a marriage, you need to try to mitigate the things that are automatically going to make it more difficult. So, for example, if you're looking for a mate in your life, and you are extremely one kind of way, and you meet somebody that is extremely the opposite way, you're kind of setting yourself up for some issues. Like, for example, if you are very, very good with money and you are very frugal, and then you marry somebody that is horrible with money and doesn't even think about money the way you think about money, you are setting yourself up for a bad marriage. You're setting yourself up for failure, because that's one of the number one stressors in marriage is money. And so you really need to have some kind of general agreement about money. Well, it's the same way with going into education. If you go into education and you are, a certain kind of person, that the field already is set up, education is already set up in a way that's going to make it difficult for you. So let's talk about that. All right, here's the number one thing, is you need to understand that education is about everybody else and not about you. It's about taking care of all these other people and all these other groups of people, and it's not about yourself. And I'll explain that in a minute. But if you go into it and you're doing it for yourself, you're going to be so miserable. I mean, if you're going into it just for yourself to make money, you're not going to be satisfied with it. If you're going into it just because you love this subject, like you love math, and you just want to teach math, and you just want to go in the room and nobody bother me, and I'm just going to close my door, and I don't want these kids bothering me. I just want to stand up there and teach math. That's what I like. I like math. You're not going to be happy. You can't go in there and think, well, I'm going to get all this praise, and I'm going to be the teacher of the year, and I'm going to do that. It's all going to be about me, and you're going to be disappointed if that's the way it is. If you're the kind of person you have to be right, I got to be right. All it's got to be, what I say is I know I'm always right. You're going to be fighting the world. It cannot be, for however you focus your efforts, it cannot be about you and your satisfaction and what you want, because you're not going to get what you want. You got all these other groups of people. Like if you're a teacher, classroom teacher, the number one group of people you got to be concerned about taking care of is the students in your classroom. I mean, you got to care about those people more than you care about yourself. You got to care about, the parents. You got to care about your coworkers. You have to care about and take care of all these other people. And if you can't do that, you're going to be a miserable person. In my life, what did that for me? After I had been in education many years, I became a Christian. And when I became a Christian, my life, my view fundamentally changed from caring about myself to caring about others first. Now, that's a religious thing. That was a life-changing moment for me. Altered the way that I saw the world and the things that I did. Now, that's, if you want to do that, then that works. That worked in my life. That's what worked for me. But, a lot of people, you'll watch this, you're like, I don't care anything about religion. I don't want to do any of that kind of stuff. Well, then the best thing I can tell you is you need to figure out whatever it is in your life that's going to get you to the point where you understand that, this world and the system of education and all this stuff is not about, if it's all about you, you're just going to have a hard time. And that's the best way I can say it. I can't tell you how many times as a teacher I had to do things that I didn't want to do, or that I didn't think was right, or that I didn't, especially when I was younger, man, I got all the answers. I know everything. I know everything there is to know. I know what these kids need. All they need, I thought I knew everything, and I didn't. And that's the thing. You're in a system that is set up and runs, and it's a big government body, a big bureaucracy, even the smallest school system, even if it's a private school, is a bureaucracy. And there's, politics involved and all this type of stuff outside of your classroom. And you can't isolate yourself from it. You can't go in there and just do your thing. It's impossible. It's impossible. You've got all these other groups of people. I mean, as an administrator, I had to care about the teachers and take care of the teachers. I had to care about and take care of the students. I had to care about and take care of the parents. I had to care about and take care of the other administrators and take care of the school district and take care of everybody. And sometimes, what was best for one group might not have been what was best for the other. And, I had to prioritize things and all that. And I'm telling you, that was hard to do. And I had to do a lot of things that I did not like. I did not like having to do this, but I had to do it for the benefit of everybody, because the education system is necessary for our country. I know a lot of people complain about it and fuss about it and all this kind of stuff, but bottom line is, as a nation, we need a public education system. We have to have it. We got to have a place where people can learn how to read and write, and learn how to be, employable, and learn how to, be part of a democracy, and learn how, we need that. And, people, you can sit here and say, well, they're not even learning how to read and write and all that, whatever. You can say that, but for every one kid like that, there's dozens and dozens of kids that come out and become productive members of society that would never do that if it wasn't for that education system. It is there for the benefit of our country and for the benefit of the population. And when you go into this field, you have to understand that outweighs, like, our country needs this. These kids need this. with all its faults and all the bad things and all the stuff people don't like, we still need it. Do you know how many kids are out there that, they would never, if it wasn't for public education, you take one kid that is severely handicapped, and you look at the money that it costs to send them to school, to get them there, to hire the people, the special people that it takes to take care of them, to get all the equipment it takes to take care of them. No private school can afford that kind of stuff. Most parents can't afford to do all that kind of stuff, but the public education system can take that kid, get them to school, get special teachers, do all this stuff. Those kids would never get an education if it wasn't for public education. They're there for the benefit of not just, the nation, but just people like that would just be neglected. They'd be sitting in somebody's house. They'd never even, and then when we had the pandemic and everybody was having to keep their kids at home, and everybody's always, screaming about, you need to homeschool your kids in public, well, how many of them, you would think after that pandemic that everybody said, you know what, this is working out great. Let's keep our kids at home so that we can educate them at home. No, they all sent them back to public school as soon as and some of them kept them at home. Some of them probably said, yeah, this works out great, because some people can do that. Some people are capable of doing that. But a lot of people are not. And the public school system is where they go. People want their kids to be there. Some people can't wait to get their kids in there. But you know what I'm saying? We need it. It is a necessity, and you are the person that keeps that running. No matter how bad it is, no matter how bad it gets, we still need people to teach. It's important. It's a big deal. And even if they never get any kind of, praise, even if they never get any kind of recognition, we still need it. Your job, if you're a teacher, is important. The most important job in a school is in the classroom where the teacher is teaching the kid. There's not a superintendent. But that's the job that has to be done. You have to keep in mind that what I'm doing is important. It matters for other people. It matters for these kids. It matters for those parents. It matters. And even if you think they all hate you, and even if you think they all, if in your mind, your mindset is I'm doing this for fill in the blank. I'm doing this for my country. I'm doing this for my state. I'm doing this for these kids. I'm doing whatever. There's got to be something more important than your desires and how you want things to go for you to be able to make it for 30 years, because it is a tough profession. It changes constantly. You'll think you have it down, and you'll think you know how things work, and then it'll all change, and all the, and if you can't have that focus that this is not, because when you have that, it makes you tougher. When things happen, you don't feel so sorry for yourself and get all, you focus on everybody else, and that'll help you through. When that became my mindset, things changed for me. I'm telling you, it became a much easier job to do. And it still was very difficult, but I had to, that gave me the strength to say, okay, no matter, how much kids don't like it, if I have to give them this discipline, I still could do it. Even no matter how mad the parents got because I had to do something, I could still do it. No matter how mad the teachers got if I did something that they didn't like, I could still do it. I could still do things that I had to do without stressing myself so badly and worrying so much that I couldn't function. I got home and I would get home and worry and all this kind of stuff. I mean, I was able to do the things that I needed to do because I knew I was doing it for what was best for other people. and it was truly for what was best for me. Because there's plenty of times that and I'm a human being, there's plenty of times I wanted things that were, I wanted this job, or I wanted this promotion, or I wanted, whatever, things that I would want that I wouldn't get, and I could have got mad and pouted and not did my job, or somebody could have questioned the way I did something, and I thought I did it the right way, and I could have got mad and left and quit my job and all that kind of stuff, but I didn't do it because I wasn't the most important thing. So anyway, you guys take that for what it's worth, and it's worth a lot. I'll just tell you. There's a lot of things I say that, is my opinion, all that, but I'm telling you, that is a life-altering thing when you can put other people before you, put other things ahead of you, because you need to do that. So that's number one. Okay, that's the number one thing. I'll have a lot of other things that will help you, but that'll help you make it a long way. That'll make you get to retirement. That'll help you day in and day out when you think things are crazy, and you're going, why is this happening? These kids are so terrible, or my principal's crazy, or whatever. Those will be the days where you can make it through with that mindset. So anyway, thanks guys for watching Nichols Retirement Empire, and y'all have a good day. And when I get these other videos out, you guys watch them. It's going to be a lot of practical things that are going to help you make it all the way through and have a good career.